So what's up, B?
Watching the game, having a bud.
True.
What's up? Yo, who's that?
Yo, pick up the phone.
Hello? What's that? What's up?
Yo, where's Dookie?
Yo, Duke. Hey! Yo.
What's up?
What's that?
Hold on. Hello?
So what's up, B?
Watching the game, having a bud.
True.
Yes!
Did you just refer to me as White Devil?
This how they knew you.
I'm gonna do a terrific show today, and I'm gonna help people because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Well, here we go. I certainly hope the volume is working. I'm gonna monitor this from my phone over at the art table there so that I can actually see. Volume is working. What's going on? If anybody's in the chat that wants to fill me in on stuff that everything is great, everything isn't, whatever, what have you, I'll be able to see it there. So what's the backstory here? Quite unexpectedly, I had some very nice pencils show up in the mail. A Discord pal from Japan found these. These are Mitsubishi. No, I'm getting that wrong. I actually said what they were. I'm just going to say what we want to get drawn here. Yeah. Mitsubishi High Uni Pencil 2B, which is basically a number 2 pencil as far as lead weight goes. And this is a very highest quality Tombow home. I don't know how he found them. If he might have just grabbed them and in the little group that I'm in on Discord and the people that I'm friends with. One of a couple artists, so he gifted me these pencils, and I thought it would be great to show my appreciation by doing some lettering. And first step, I'm gonna do his name in a sort of a homegrown impromptu font right here. But first things first, make sure you're getting the spelling right. So I'm gonna check that real quick, and then I'll be right back. Yeah, okay, no I. So I'm just gonna actually write it up here so that I can. There. So other than that, I've got a regular eraser stick. I had put this line on here just to see what the contrast was going to be like. And then I have this electric eraser, which I absolutely love. So just to explain to the layperson who may or may not know how pencil lead weights work. They start off with the H's, and the higher the number of the H, that is a harder or lighter lead. And then B, you'll go like 6H, 4, 5, 3, 2, and then just H, and then HB, which is supposed to be middle ground, and then 2B, 3B, 4B, until you go all the way up to like an ebony pencil or something like an extra black layout, something that's just severe darkness. Same lead weights come in these for lead holders. They're typically labeled on the container, not necessarily in the pencil itself. Sorry, people from work are texting me, and I am not punched in. So, anyways, so let's get started here. I've got I'm gonna make a mark for the top of my screen here so I can see where my. I don't want to go outside my border here. So let's get started. Max, again, thank you. These are very generous. I want to make sure that I get a lot of use out of these. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can do sort of a something like a flowy script. So I'm going to put a baseline here. Hopefully this isn't too loud. Normally when I'm painting, my face is up right by the camera. And I have to go back in and kind of mess with the audio to make it not so like screaming at you. Okay, so let's start with, let's see. Yeah, this is the lighter of the leads. This is a B. I do have some lighter pencils, I believe, but I don't want to use anything except for the ones that were sent here. And then I'm just going to kind of, just to make sure that my kerning is correct. Kerning is bad kerning is when you end up writing a word and then it's too long and you have to like kind of carry it down the side of the blackboard. So kerning is width between the letters, the space between the letters, and then leading is the space between the lines if you're doing a block of text. So our name here is going to be M-A-X M-A-X-U, oh, I'm sorry, M-A-X-M-U-R-A. And this is actually going a little bit up further than I'd like. So I might get a brand new eraser out and fix that. Later. Well, why not just use this? See, when I first, normally when I set the camera up, I have it set so that it's square on the table, and I can move the paper around and stuff. But this time I decided to, you know, which I should always be doing, is get the pad cozy, and then conform the camera to it. Okay. I hate X's and then consonants, or X's and then the next letter, because it wants to be like a U, but not really. Or like a V, rather. Oh, it's a little better. I can have a tail. So I'm trying to trick this out a little bit here. Maybe put some, what do you call it, some filigree and flourishes and stuff. And I've not used these before. This, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be the perfect application for these. I can feel how the, you know, like anything, like with the paint brushes, you press harder, you're going to impact the page. In fact, I should take this out of here so that I'm not indenting the pages underneath. Oh, hey, Spice. I just happened to look up there. It's one of the things I love about watching David Finch's channel. He's an amazing artist. But on almost every single one of them, and when his wife isn't able to do it, one of his buddies will come in, and it's really helpful for the channel is to have somebody watching what's going on with the chat, so that you're not ignoring your audience, but you can also concentrate on your work. Somebody else is there. Who else does this? Nub Graphics, an excellent pinstriper. He did a lot of the artwork for Orange County Chopper. I really don't know where I'm going with this, so there could be changes. It's an interesting element. I might be able to do something interesting with there, but I don't feel like I'm giving myself enough space to. Although, right. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Miami, and gosh darn it, every time I start to tell one of these stories, I can never remember if I told it to somebody on stream, off stream, where the discussion took place. You're gonna have to explain that last one. Hey, what's up, Hex Allen? Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for showing up. I'm not sure what when you're a boy mom. I'm hoping that's a compliment, or just probably at the worst, it's a joke I don't get. But anyways, the I don't. Yeah, it's like my uncle telling the same joke over and over again. I don't remember where if we had this discussion, but anyways, I have it anyways. Those shows were great and they were entertaining, but they were nowhere near realistic, any of them. I think maybe Monster Garage was because for all of his faults, Jesse James always seemed to be the guy that actually had one foot in reality and not trying to be a reality TV star. So when you have people who are not concerned about that and really all they want is ratings, they'll do the same thing that a 24-hour news service does, which is come up with stories that aren't really stories so that they have something to report on, so that they have something to say. One of the American is not American Hot Rod, although American Hot Rod is one of them. What the hell was the one overhauling? And again, you know, all of the guys that are involved in these shows, great. Chip Foose is a super talented. But there is, you know, there's the schedule that's got to be kept, and you know they're trying to turn a car around in 7 days, and it's not possible if that work is going to happen for real. Excuse me. So what ends up happening is you end up your customer base ends up mutating into something that believes that is something that's possible when it isn't. Oh, okay, gotcha. So you're it wasn't a joke, it was a stereotype. Yeah. No, all the cars that I have are really awesome, but they're like more like this. There's an awesome channel on my brother introduced me to called a Diecast Resurrection, and I made 2 attempts at restoring those 2 Hot Wheels, and then realized once I got the wheels on how badly I messed up because I just kicked the camera. I got two different shades of gray on the wheels. But really, those are just reference material for the cars that I'm going to be using in my comic book. One of the guys drives a van, and I need to have something that I can position. So that's what the van is for. Actually, and I have I just ordered it from from Etsy, a 1964 Buick Riviera lowrider. Okay, let's see what we can do for Max here. This is really, it's just turning into like a base script. It's something that I normally do. I feel like I'm running home to mama instead of trying to come up with something that's I can probably add a some, what do you call it, like a little tattoo script stuff here off to the sides. Hopefully I've got room for that. Maybe cheat this over this way so I've got room to do it over here. I got my pencil sharpener. Tell me if that's not an aggravating sound. You know what, Miami, I just got a guy. I just emailed me asking how much it would be to paint an RC body, a 110 Volkswagen Beetle, and it's not something that I've ever done before, and I'm not really into it because it's painting backwards. And not that that's bad, but the clear Lexan shell is the clear coat. So everything that you do, it's like painting a sign on a window. You have to do what would normally be your last color first. And it's I've never wanted to do an RC body. I know that they it looks like they'd be fun, but it's not something that I would be able to. I don't think I'd be able to get as much money out of it as I need to. Actually, I want these things to carry a common line through here, so I'll split it out this way. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking too hard about it. And I'm sure the person is very nice, and it's one of the big downfalls that I've had in being in business for myself, and one of the reasons why. And not that this is a bad thing, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Hey, Susie, Tread, what's going on? I'm okay. I'm going to leave for work at about 4:30, but I got my coffee. I thought my daughter was home. Just a recent event. In fact, this is actually something I was going to do before I started, and I forgot. This sounds terrible, but if she had plans, I don't know what they were, so I don't know where she is. So I'm going to text my my wife real quick, and then whenever that shows up, that shows up. But okay, so anyways, all right, I'm back. Thank you. Yeah, I have a font that looks similar to this, but it's extra special when I guess when it's done by hand. I honestly I talked to this guy a handful of times, and I'm pretty sure it was on Cool Frog's stream. And I mean, it was, I think everybody was drinking. I've actually settled down quite a bit since the new year, just because. But you know, we're talking about, I mean, I had the camera pointed at the rest of my basement, and there's Frazetta artwork and some comic books over it. It's just, you know, my the cave. And he's like, "Oh, I got these pencils, and I should send them to you." And I didn't really think much of it. In fact, we got off a stream, and it hit me. I was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know how that dude's gonna send me those pencils, because." Okay. Yeah, my wife is making fun of me now, and I just noticed that my daughter is missing. Well, I figured she was home, okay? And here it is. I figured she was home because there's a laundry basket full of laundry to be folded that's been there for 3 days. So I automatically assumed she was in her room doing nothing. And I've had that thought with me for a couple of hours. Like, I'm not saying anything to anybody, because if you want to be an adult, you should be able to look around the room, say, "Oh, that needs to be done," and then do it like I do. But then I was like, hey, she does her own thing, I do my own thing, and we don't usually worry about it. You know, it's not like I won't poke my head in and make sure she's, I'll make sure she's, you know, still alive, and, you know, not like something dramatic happened in her life and now she's crying into her pillow. But, you know, I made my breakfast, I took my shower, and I work late, so I get up late. So I'm used to her having the I mean, you know, she's what, just turned, I think she just turned 17. Whenever whenever we started going going from months to years, I lost track. But anyways, okay. Back to the story. So anyways, these pencils show up in the mail, and it honestly wasn't like the amount of security, you know, like where I'm like, I feel like I'm in this like little neighborhood that's untouchable because nobody ever comes up here. And then I was like, you know, I've got comic books that might be coming in the mail, you know, some Comicsgate stuff. And, you know, I never know, you know, how it is now. You know, you get online once, and you go to Amazon, you order some stuff, and then you might forget about it, or at least I do. And then something shows up in the mail one day, and then it's these pencils. And I'm like, oh yeah, those pencils we talked about. And I'm like, but how does he know what my address is? So, and I'm like, you know, these are coming from Japan. I don't think that you know, Max is gonna, you know, find his way over here and end up becoming a sequel to the Cable Guy or anything like that. But I am curious because I might want to know how to do what he did someday. Not in a bad way, just like, it's one of those like contingencies. Like, man, um, somebody's trying to ruin your life, and you want to know where they're doing it from. So, anyways, there's the paranoid fantasies that happen in the mind of an artist. Well, at least this one. Okay, so gummy eraser time. I think. Can everybody hear Bear up there? This is the lighter pencil too. What happened to the other one? Everybody hears the dog, right? Gummy eraser. I've got another one upstairs, but I don't feel like running to get it. I'm just going to take the time to unwrap this one. Yes, Susie, that is exactly what happened. And in fact, it was this. I talked to him twice, and then when I went on Discord to thank him, and I'm like, because I'm terrible at Discord. Like, it's a whole other. It's a whole other thing that I don't know, what do you want to call it? Me on Discord is like watching somebody drunk try to find the bathroom in a house that they've never been in. Okay, so I got my gummy eraser trash that I'll never throw out. The gummy or the kneaded eraser. And again, for those who don't know, this is basically just for turning your first set of lines into something lighter that you can work with. It doesn't take everything away. It just kind of turns the contrast down. And you kind of clean it up, get the pencil, it gets dirty, and then you kind of like work with it until the dirt kind of goes away, and then eventually you do have to get another one, but this one's brand new. So, well, easy does it, Dave. There, that goes there. And if anybody's wondering what the glove is for, I normally use this when I'm painting on cars because I don't want to get oils and salt and crap on there, but it also works really good for this because you can brush eraser shavings away without smearing anything. Okay, we're back in the square. Yeah, he's probably, who knows what's showing up on the front porch. Gummy erasers last a while. I mean, it really depends on how often you use them. I thought I had gotten an entire box of them, but then a box of poly erasers showed up. I tell you what, I got so many tools over here, and it's one of those things where I curse. I shouldn't say that. Oh my God, listen to him. And if I want to mute this so that I can yell at him, I got to get out of the chair, go over to the computer. Okay, so darken that back up. Holy crap. See, this right here, this is why I'm not worried about people having my address. Okay, I have just in case now. Especially like Matt, as far as I know, and who can really tell about anybody these days? But first impressions being what they are, Max seems like an absolutely harmless individual who just wants to have fun and make friends, and that's great. So I'm doing this for him. But that being said, this is why I'm not really worried about people actually being crazy enough to come here, especially ones that are in the continental U.S. Yeah, it's yeah, he's gonna come down here. Let me know that he's Yeah, you did good, right? In your Eddie Bauer doggy sweater. Jeez. No one's going to be afraid of you now. Man, tangents upon tangents. So that's that. The 3 cameras, which I should have gotten a notification for if anybody was dropping anything off, and the gun on my hip, and the other one's in the safe. So I'm okay. In fact, there are times where I look forward to somebody breaking in, because life can get mundane. Wait, was that a maniacal laugh, or was I really having fun just then? Man, so many things can be interpreted in so many wrong ways. Let's see. I want to do more flourish down here. I want to dress the letters up, but I don't want to make them illegible, and that's always the real trick. If anybody's ever seen turn of the century Art Nouveau style lettering, and a great place to see where this stuff still lives today and is worked with today, especially in like the really ornate glass mirrors and bar rooms and stuff like that, is a davidadriansmith.com hash. It's his little tagline is 100 years behind the times. You guys seeing that? And it is. I tell you what, being one of his kids must be one of the most mellow experiences in your life, because the kind of work that he does and the amount of patience that you have to have, I would be too stressed out, I think, because one wrong move on any one of his projects, and it is back to square one, back to a blank piece of glass. But I highly recommend you guys will be on that site for, or if you find them on YouTube, there are documentaries on the work that he does. I think he did one for Jameson's. And if anybody out there is a John Mayer fan, he designed the Born and Raised album cover. So that's, to see his work in the mainstream, that's what it looks like. So I'm trying to get a roundness here, and I'm trying to do it without help. But I do have helpers if I wanted them. I could, kind of pull one of these guys out. I'll first go here, and then go here, and get some help that way. Then I can take maybe this little eraser stick and see that, Max? We're using your pencils. Just the more time I spend at this table, the more I realize how much crap I've accumulated over the years that I don't do because it's like it takes time to get inspired. And if you're working 8 hours a day, and you know that you're going to get ripped away from something that you're really into, because you have to go punch in. And it's not like you've got time on the weekends, because now you got to grocery shop and clean up and do all this other crap. And I shouldn't do all this other crap, because some of it is spending time with your family, which is great. But even then, I'm like, even if I'm not doing this, I'm thinking about what I could be doing next. Like, I have a little drawing table that I can put on my lap, so I can be in another room where everybody else is doing my thing. But it's still like some distractions here and there. But whatever, I'm complaining. This isn't supposed to be that kind of a thing. I don't want to drive people away because I'm whining. So let's see, what do I do? I want to put more lines in here. Yeah. Oh, I'm off the camera. Oh, David Adrian Smith. He's from Great Britain. He actually does some workshops. I'm sure they're worth every penny, but I actually missed out on a really cool an event that I all my pinstriping friends all get together, and they had one it was like right over Halloween weekend, and I couldn't go because I had some major work being done to the house that I had to pay attention to. Okay, let's see. I kind of like the way this kicks out a little bit here. I want to keep that. But it doesn't happen, the same thing doesn't happen up here, so that kind of is messing with me. What if I had it happen on the other side? That might work. So this curve can come all the way through here. This can kind of do this, and then this can still be like an M. So I am, and, Max is on a completely different time schedule because he's in a different country. And hey, expert, what's going on? Work, family distractions. It's a miracle I get anything done. And I would be highlighting these, but again, the computer is over there about 8 feet, and the drawing table is here, 0 feet. Oh yeah, hit the like button. I appreciate that. You know what? If anybody wants to come in, just say so, and I'll put it. This I can actually go 8 feet for. I'll do this. Go here, here, there. And if anybody wants to come in and talk, they can. There. I don't think that's such a terrible decision right there. That's one of the cool things about Rick Griffin, who I could be mistaken here, but he may have had like a pseudonym. He was an artist that did all those like cool like hippie posters for Haight-Ashbury hippie stuff. I think he did the I tell you what, expert, your timing and my timing with streaming and personal hygiene, it's a little freaky. All the times I found myself in the shower while expert was streaming. It's almost like one of those like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but in that Joey and Ross just managed to take a nap together at the same time. There's nothing really homoerotic about it. It's just this thing that happens. I'm sure you understand and agree. Let's see. Maybe I want to kick this out here, because I find myself making these things up and then inventing rules for them. I've got 2 here. I've got 2 here. I've got 2 here. Do I need to have 2 on the other side? Who knows? They could be offset on the same descender, or the same. I think that's the descender. No, well, yeah, the descender. Anatomy of the anatomy of a typeface, the ascender, the descender, or upright, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's getting a little. Got to keep that tip sharp. Yeah, this is what I can do. I can fold this around like a little scroll. And like most of these flourishes are just an excuse to do some filigree, because that's filigree's fun. It's that dollar bill stuff. In fact, one of the greatest doodle inventions ever. Because I'm wondering exactly the artwork on the dollar bill and how complicated money is. Cool Frog, what is going on, my man? Thanks for showing up, everybody. It really helps it helps Al. From what I understand, some guy named Rhythm, and he's constantly going. I don't know. That was a bad joke. Boo hiss. Yeah, it helps the algorithm. Okay, I'm gonna put a couple little berries on the end there, because that happens too. There's little shoots of stuff. No, I'm not gonna do that. I need to get onto these other letters here. Hey, somebody tell me when it's 4:30, so I can go to work and be there on time. So if anybody missed the earlier commentary, thank you very much. I don't think I did. I think I got lazy on this one, expert. I think I got I was just like, well, I'll just let the people who subscribe to the channel on realize that it's there, and then see what kind of activity it gets. And I can always count on a few of you guys to show up. The Idaho thing is messed up. What was I was just, while I was making my breakfast, Yellow Flash was talking about, I cannot remember the guy's name now, because it's one of those like really common names, but this dude, and I'm sure expert knows who I'm talking about, was like making things up and calling it evidence, and literally like screwing with the ongoing investigation on this guy. I mean, I don't know if they would have been able to get it to him sooner if they weren't chasing their tails, based on, YouTube. This guy's YouTube followers were like calling the cops and saying, "Hey, this guy knows stuff," and he didn't actually know shit. What was one of my very favorites? Megan Fox. She is just adorable. She was talking about that. She was talking about his professor. Like what you're saying, it reminds you of Scream. It reminds me of like Silence of the Lambs. And they were talking with, she was talking about the BTK's daughter, who is, having to like live through this absolute nightmare all over again, because it turns out, like the autobiography of the BTK was done by this guy's, what's the killer's name in Idaho, or the alleged killer they found in Pennsylvania. I don't remember his name, but the BTK's autobiography was written by his professor, and they were doing a rate your professor thing on this woman, and it was one of those ones where you're like, yeah, this lady may be creating serial killers. Like, she's a little too interested in it, where it's like, you're not just a college professor of these people. You are becoming megalomaniacal about it. You're constantly being interviewed. You're always the witness that's on the news, or the expert that's on the news. And until now, and now she doesn't want to say anything. She doesn't want to comment about this, one of the biggest tragedies in true crime. So anyways, if you guys are aware of that, then because I know I'm never going to be the first to get to this party. You guys are already, big fans of true crime, and I'm just kind of along for the ride. I pick up on stuff here and there because I subscribe to this channel or that channel too, and I'll be honest, mostly because I want to help the subscriber. You know what I mean? Your pals, and I want your channels to do well. But then and there's so many of them. You know, you can't get into all of them. But every once in a while, you'll get a nugget and like that, and you'll be like, oh my god, it'll go through my head. I wonder if the expert or like fill in the blank has heard of this yet. But Megan Fox she does some really great work, and she's super funny, and especially when she's talking about her parents. I think Megan Fox is one of the coolest people to come out of whatever the law tube thing. Yeah, super smart. But anyways, check that video out, because the guy that she has on, and they make a pretty cogent point that this, because BTK was I think BTK was a criminal justice student, and so was this kid. And it's like you are it's like you're teaching engine mechanics so that you are better off at sabotaging a car in a way that only an engine mechanic would be able to find it. Okay, go under like this, and then put my thing there. Well, my letters aren't getting taller, are they? I hope not. I should be better than that. I think I got a kink on this page a little bit. Ooh. Wait, are you serious? Well, I'm sorry. I only just got this here. Found out today the attacker left his knife sheath behind. Well, that's an amateur move. God, I wonder what kind of forensic material they can pull off of that. They'll probably be able to pinpoint exactly what knife show he found that sheath at, like right down to the breed of cow that the leather was made of. Okay, this is too far in. I'm going to use this last letter to really dial in the kerning here. I'm going to move everything over like maybe 0.5 millimeter. But yeah, so as far as work goes, I really do. It's an easy job to do. It pays well, and the benefits are out of this world. But seriously, I mean, who among us wouldn't you rather be doing something else? Now, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This A is a runt. This whole thing has to go. Okay. I think I need to clean this up too. Oh, I don't know if anybody remembers this from school, or from if you were ever in art class. Running your eraser on your blue jeans is always what cleans it off. Apparently, that's getting a little muddy, but not to worry. This is what is this? I like the texture of this paper. It's nice and smooth, marker paper. Not using it for that, and probably the reason why it's marker paper and not like a nice smooth hot press style board is probably because of what I just tried to do to it now, which was give it too much punishment. That these papers, after a while, they might break down under too much. Let's see. When you get into like blue line pages for comic books, you'll have different. So I mean, everybody's got their favorite. But if it can take the constant erasing of you draw, you erase, you draw, you erase, because you are making a lot of corrections over time, and then there's the inking. You know, when you're done absolutely killing this paper and making the fibers all frizzy, and then you go to ink it, is the ink just going to bleed out into this spot that is no longer, doesn't have the kind of body that it did before you started pounding away on it with an electric eraser. That might be a, well, that's a huge flourish at the end, but we can also do this here. Come on. You know, like totally swapping out the feel of this flowy thing by putting this angular element in here. But we're just playing around with stuff. Yeah, and switch over to the swoopies. I'll do this here. Maybe that works. I don't know. We can do something like that on the top too. This may last longer than. Oh, hey Cake, what's going on? What is the haps? That's what it sounds like when I sip coffee. If you guys heard that, it was well, I've never considered the sounds that I make while I'm eating or drinking to be very attractive, but you know, others may feel differently. Yeah, what is the haps, everybody? I mean, you guys can talk about your own lives too. If I understand that what I'm doing may have a what's called the Bob Ross effect, and the Bob Ross effect on me is that I fall asleep. It is awesome to watch, but if you are, I mean, if you just, ugh, that's not going to work up there. If you just did your 8 hours for King and Country and you're a little tired and you want to fall asleep right there and then on that couch, throw on some Bob Ross, man. It happens every time. I don't know if I like that up there at all. In fact, that whole thing might have to go. Yeah, but this is good. Normally, I don't run the electric eraser on this paper, and this may end up turning into some kind of a mess. And then if I send him anything, I'll send him like this original. Then I can actually scan this into the computer, turn it into General. What's happening, man? Thanks. And I like your presence on Twitter. It warms my heart, and your presence here makes it a white hot passionate heat, and I mean that in the most platonic way possible. Yeah, General Piggy likes a lot of my posts, and that's one of the fastest ways into my heart. Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry, I have a crack in my screen. I couldn't read family. Well, our new pup landed in the family about 2 hours ago. Wow, all good. And clumsy. Oh, clumsy clairvoyant, I believe. Called this AM. Yeah. Regarding work today, which I knew was coming, but I threw up pics of a pup to soothe everyone's temperament online. I hope I read that correct. New pup is that going to be like is that a mixed breed? Are we talking or what? Oh, you know what would work here? I wish I'd have thought of it before I started putting these other lines in, but I can probably do it I can probably do it here anyways. Here, I got a circle template just to make it. And if I'm going super stereotypical, no, you know what? I'm not going to go super stereotypical. I'm going to make it a little bit more like this so that it's not right out in the open. But it is it's not a design element that you wouldn't see on something like this anyways. But I'm going to do this just to add a little bit of a traditional flourish for someone with a moniker like Maximura. Let's see. What's the best way to do this? I'll start here. Now, what I need is a central point like that and stuff off my desk so I can swing this thing around. Let's give myself some reference points. I don't need to. Debbie is weird. Why else would she be here? Only the weirdest show up here. But I mean that weird in a good way. Weird in a way that only a level of weirdness that really only one named Debbie would be able to achieve. French Bulldog. Okay, near enough. Plus, easier. Oh, okay. Wait, oh, yeah. What was that? Yeah, it was on Cool Frog's thing. It was about the view that the estrogen had spoiled or something. HRT, hormone replacement therapy. Now I know. All right, God, I had to go back into my file of my file of acronyms to remember what that one was. French Bulldog. So you got a French Bulldog. Did you have to give it mouth to mouth as soon as it came out of the of mom? Because I heard they don't breathe on their own very well. First for a family for the last 30 years. Yeah, you guys have just had mutts, I guess, is what you're saying. Yeah. Bear is parts. Honestly, I think it's like putting whatever is in that dog is the equivalent of canine ammonia and bleach. Boxer, which means when they look at you, you can tell that they're trying to, make a plan, and not of escape, of they want to take over. There's that. There's I know it. If we got a doggy DNA test and they said I was wrong, I wouldn't believe them. And then we get part, what do you call it? Belgian Malinois. Those, and I always call them a dog-shaped missile. If you've ever seen them go after anybody, they'll like go through a driver's side door to get to their target. Very intelligent, very high strung. But I've also heard one of my friends has a buddy who trains police dogs, and he said that about the Malinois. It's a hit and miss. They are the absolutely smartest dogs you could possibly train, or depending on the dog that you get, they are totally untrainable. Yeah. So, and that's the thing I was going to say. I think there's pit in him too, because his head is square, but isn't that also part of what makes Boxer isn't really square? In the eyes, he's a boxer. The shape of his head, he's a pit bull, and his musculature too. Like in the same way that a greyhound or a whippet, a real short-haired dog, that you can see the machine under the skin, and it's really really cool to to look at. But yeah, totally a boxer, totally a Malinois. Because, I mean, it's not just that the dog gets on his hind legs, but the kind of air that he can get when he's going after a toy. And I wish we had a bigger yard. This thing's been torn up. It's got grass seed and straw on it because we just had a very pretty Tiffany colored septic tank put in. So the yard's been totally torn up. But once we actually have grass, which I'm hopefully that happens in the spring, we'll be able to play with them in the yard a little bit more with the flirt pole. Yeah, some dogs are. That's why I keep saying the dog that we had previous to this one, Cooper, we had to put him down. It's almost in I believe in late February, March, it will have been a year. And then getting Bear really was an emotional decision based on the amount of noise that was no longer in the house, and it was my decision. So and I was like, oh, he's a dog of destiny, because we would be looking around and we would get all these replies from all of these I guess you would call it second string contenders for our next dog. And then when the lady that was fostering Bear finally got back to us, which she probably didn't get back to us right away because she was wrestling with Bear to get to the phone or the computer, I was like, he's a dog of destiny. And now they just throw it in my face every time he does something stupid. You said he was the dog of destiny. And I'm starting to use that Back to the Future joke. No, I didn't say that. I said he was our dog of density. See how slippery I am? I should be a politician. I can convince myself of damn near anything. Why wouldn't I be able to do that to my constituents? So, oh yeah, in a few months, just, man, I was hesitant at first, has never had full breed right, and then one potentially comes with a slew of possible issues. One of my wife's good friends has nothing but French bulldogs. I believe on one of them, and this is a thing that I do not believe it's common. Okay, so I don't want to. You know what? You just had this puppy. I'm not going to say. But yeah, the list of things that could possibly go wrong with a French bulldog, I guess the list is a little bit longer than others. Although, you get a big dog, you get issues. Your Great Danes don't normally. I mean, their average is what, 7 to 8 years, 8 if you're lucky. Cooper was only 7 years. This dog being so, like I said, Cooper made me a dog person. A Bear is making me not a dog person. Not to get too, personal, okay, but Cooper never went into the bathroom garbage, okay. Cooper would go into the garbage because there's food in there. But he wouldn't go into the bathroom garbage, and for that, I thank him. And he will always be remembered fondly, posthumously, for never having done that. And shit, you know what? Now that I'm talking about it, it makes me feel like I should go upstairs and... Hold on a second. Bear! I'm trying to cover the mic. I've got a sinking feeling I'm going to go up there and find a mess. Hold on a second. It's okay. Everything's fine. I'm sorry. You gotta make sure the right doors are closed. And here's where it hit me. I was like, oh, wait a second. That story about me not realizing that my daughter was out with a friend, and I just, I have to text my wife, hey, where's the kid? I'm like, well, I don't normally have to worry about what the dog is up to because, there's a kid up there. Oh, wait a minute. There's no kid up there. I hate that. I had to run upstairs. Now I'm like, what is it? Doing breathing heavy over the phone. Breathing heavy over the stream, which is like breathing heavy over the phone, except to many other people. See, now I feel like I'm missing something at the bottom, but I wouldn't know what to put in there to, balance it out because I've got that rising sun deal at the top there. Yeah, Cake, you're right. Cooper was never that much of a distraction. And this dog, only on a day like today, it's like he has to get it through his head. Not that no one loves him, although I will joke around and say that I don't, just because I know it upsets other people who hear me say it. They know I don't mean it. They just, I don't know. Once you find out how easy it is to tweak your family members, don't you just kind of want to do it more often than you should? Here, I'm gonna put one out here because they're fun to draw. Or should it be? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool though, putting these two design elements together. And this should be rounder out here. That's the thing about filigree's got a real specific shape. It's almost like turn of the century fractals. This needs to be way fat out to here. Yeah, I could probably turn this into a piece of vinyl and cut him a window decal, because I mean, look at all these, okay? And this is just, I mean, that's nuts. That's a guy that I talked to at the most 3 times, twice that I absolutely remember. Because there's those times where you're like you're in the chat late and somebody was in there early and they don't say much and you don't see them until like way later because you didn't scroll up. You're like, oh yeah, that one person I should have said hi to a long time ago is here. Social media faux pas. Now, anyway, so I did send Max because I want to kind of get on a schedule for this. I got to sharpen this up. By the way, is that super loud? Because I've never had to sharpen a pencil on stream before. I'm glad you guys are here so you can answer all my questions about this. Sound check, sibilance. But I sent him a okay, let's see. Oh, let's see. Sorry, I got to get back into this. Blah blah blah. Long. Yep. Oh, I don't know. I was gonna. Well, yeah, I kind of wanted to do a setting sun underneath. I kind of want to do a mix of two things. It seems like because if I do the setting sun on the top and the bottom, I feel like it might overpower stuff. But what do I know? I was never composition was never a strong subject. Okay, good, great. Yeah, losing a dog sucks. You just had a puppy. Why are we talking about this? Puppies are wonderful. Not at all like losing a dog. Who brought this up? It was probably me. I'm yelling at you guys for something that I did. Stop talking about dead dogs. Unless it's my dog. See what I did there? No family members to tell me to shut up. Hey, that's not nice to say. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's kind of like it's like an offensive funny. It's like an Anthony Jeselnik joke. If anybody really likes offensive humor, he hasn't been around for a while, probably for career reasons. Anthony Jeselnik, Pittsburgh boy. Actually, let's see. This is not. So turn into a mess down there. I'm gonna have to resort to using gray tones on this on this paper as an excuse for why there's smears everywhere. Imagine how bad it would be if I wasn't wearing this glove. I can't blame it on the pencils. I have to blame it on the paper. Anyways, geez, back to the thing, my tangent. There's this game that like on road trips and stuff, or if we're just like bored, my sister and I and my brother, we would all play. It was basically just you asked a bunch of questions and about your character, and by the time you were done asking questions and drawing, it would, for instance, it'd be like classifying vegetable versus animal. Is it a guy or a girl? That's a guy. Is he big, small? Does he fly? Yes, no. If he flies, is it natural flight or is it powered flight like a jetpack? Oh, it's natural flight. Okay, and if it's natural flight, I would have to actually figure out the best way to ask these questions, because while it's happening, the drawing is happening. And I thought it would be fun to do something like that with Max, with these pencils, of course, and ask those questions. Oh, it's natural flight. Okay, well, if it's natural flight, is it winged, or is it not? Do they wear a cape or not? And if it's winged, is it leather wings, feathered wings, insect wings, or something else? And normally, if you're playing with, somebody who's really been thinking about this, they might have to describe the whatever weird stuff, what other powers, energy blasts. Okay, is that something that happens naturally? Is there you got two different versions of Spider-Man. One has the natural spinnerets on his wrists, and the other traditional, which I prefer. I think Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man as far as being a traditional Peter Parker Spider-Man character. However good or bad you think the movie was, I think he was the best version of Spider-Man, because they didn't do that naturally occurring web fluid thing. That was never something that he did in the comic books. So anyways, but anyway, you go along like that until, hopefully by the time you're at the end with all the erasing and stuff that happens, you've got a unique superhero or character. Super or not, you could even say, like, does this character even have superpowers? Yes or no? And then you end up going down that Batman path. Yes, that's the name of my next character, Batman. He has the power of creating rings around your tub when you least expect it. No. Let's see. What do you guys think of this, anyways? And I don't necessarily mean like the piece, but I've never done a stream where it was just like pencils. Like if you guys look here, I have the camera set up so that like I always know where to put the paper, so that it's in the middle of the, like I'm really trying to figure out how to be better at being at this table, because the more I'm at the table, the more practice I'm going to get. The more practice I'm going to get, we all want to be better at the things that we do. And see, agree. Mine is arguably politely offensive. People always shocked when I say something or laugh. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. That's like when your sweet grandmother, who said something? It was just if that had been the case when I was a little girl, then you never would have been born. But I can't remember who said that. It had to do with I don't know, man. 2023's. Hey, thumbs up or thumbs down on 2023? Do you guys think it's going to get better or worse? Because I'm already enjoying the idea that we don't have a working Congress. I feel like it's one of those days where the teachers late and the kids really can do anything they want as long as they stay quiet and don't tell the principal that the teacher never showed up. That's what I'm really, really enjoying about this particular Congress. That it's not doing anything. Because why do we need it to? Really? Not to go off on some sort of a political bent, but here we go. Imagine the amount of money that we're saving by not giving any more of to Ukraine, because we can't figure out who should do the talking. Oh yeah, definitely not the guy who gave all that money to Ukraine. Let's not do that. Yeah, Jimmy YouTube's pretty good. He's fun. And 45 minutes until I got to do my thing. Shit. I wonder if I can actually have this in some form of finished by then. Because I mean, really, what I would want to do now is just like leaving it as line work. I'm okay with, but let's see if just putting a simple gradation on it helps balance all that black up at the top. Let me get rid of this. That doesn't need to be there. Yeah, Anthony Jeselnik is funny. There's one joke. I mean, I tried to put it out there to like over Thanksgiving. I know nobody had heard it before, but we were talking about our parents, and he had this one where he says, my mom should have been on one of the planes that hit the World Trade Centers. You know how everybody says that I was supposed to be on that plane. My mom was supposed to be on the plane that hit the World Trade Center, I think. And that dude is just two words is all it took to turn that whole thing around. Okay, there, I did it. I said something political, and now, all right, I'm from Canada, and I think there's some improvement going to. Oh, well, for 2023 altogether, Susie, or just Canada? Because, look, this is the pot calling the kettle metal, but wow, your guy up there, you know, not to make excuses for Joe Biden, because there aren't any, but you can always blame his bad decisions on dementia. I don't know what you blame Justin Trudeau's bad decisions on. Hey, does any the administration behind the seat of power, that is the major problem. Oh, it's yes, I believe that, but I also believe that it is very much what and I think it was Ben Franklin said it, one of the founding fathers anyways, that the only way that the system that we have works is if you have moral people. Indeed, it's the only way that the capitalism works. Because you can have things like false advertising, and that's basically what Congress is. Robin Williams was correct when he said that your politicians should be wearing sponsor stickers the way that a stock car is labeled, so that at least you know who they're working for. Was it Robin Williams or George Carlin? I feel like it was Robin Williams, and it might even have been a line from that movie. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. My mom was on, I guess, on the phone to someone in her company at the World Trade Center. We call her Kiss of Death. It's bombings and cat. Okay, that's that's morbid. But I salute you. I salute you for your morbidity. I mean, really, if you don't laugh at this stuff, it's just going to drive you crazy. And there is a point. It's like after the midterm elections, man, talk about a deflating moment, especially after all that hype. And I hate to say it, but I let myself buy into it. I don't normally consider myself to be very group oriented when it comes to the fervor of, and no matter what it is. It could be, this is going to be the best Batman movie ever, or what have you. But I was anticipating that red tsunami, and then afterwards, when they're like, oh, it wasn't really so bad, we kind of won some stuff, like based on every single bad decision that's happened since Biden took office. I can't believe. I really have a hard time believing what a poor showing we had in the midterms, and that's besides all of the stuff that we know happened. Oh, it was George Carlin. Okay. The Arizona election, and I'm sorry, for as bad a candidate as Mehmet Oz was, you have a really hard time convincing me that a state as corrupt as PA didn't have their thumb on the scale when it came to counting those votes, especially in Allegheny County where he's from. And he looks like he's Western PA chic. Not that I have anything against that. Winky, winky, nudge, nudge. Yeah, but that's just, there's literally a major food group representing this state in Congress. Okay, now I don't know what to think. It was Robin Carlin or George Williams. Yeah, I mean, was the Freedom Caucus actually proposing a flat tax, and one of their list of demands was that the speaker was to either support it or get the F out of the way. Because I've always been a fan of not flat. Was it flat tax or national sales tax? One or the other. National sales tax, I think, is actually a much better idea. But it would have to come with one huge caveat. And I mean, this law does not pass unless it passes exactly like this. So, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I gotcha. Well, thanks for doing it. You see, that's the makings of a great producer right there. The people that look stuff up for you. And I saw David, like I was mentioning it to you guys earlier, for those who were in late, that David Finch, who is a great artist, he has a YouTube channel. His wife will handle the speaking and stuff like, well, not the speaking, but she'll be paying attention to the chat, pay attention to the audience, so that he can keep his eyes on the paper and not miss anything. Because I mean, concentration is part of the game on this stuff. But I wanted to be able to kill three birds with one stone. Use the pencils, say thanks to Max, and get some content out there. But I might be making some change. This filigree is really something that you can get lost in. So while I'm kind of playing with it here, I might come back into this and really refine what I'm doing. Like this beveled edge part here, I really like that. I might want to just do a little bit of erasure surgery here and get the same effect on this one if I can. Come on. So can you guys hear me sniffling? There's a bottle of nasal spray on my nightstand that is calling my name right now. So as far as the flat tax goes, tell me what you think. Oh yeah, I always, I considered this one, Susie, that I honestly don't think, well, not honestly, it was a thought that came to me once, that in order to understand British humor, you had to have some British in you. Otherwise, it just doesn't take. But then, if you grow up in Britain, but you're like from India, you'd probably also get it, because big influence down there. Okay, flat national sales tax. The idea being that you would have a 23, that you do not ever have taxes taken out of your check. Nothing is ever withheld. State or, well, of course, it would depend on the states, but ideally state or federal. You keep all your money. And the tax is put on all of the goods that you buy. And of course, it would also be up to the states as whether that's, because some states don't tax food, clothing, etc. But there is a math problem out there that many economic experts believe that 23%, might be 23, 21 and a half or 23 and a half, but there's some magic number out there that is, as far as the bell curve goes, if your tax percentage is too low, you don't make any money. And if your tax percentage is right here, it's great. It's like a nice, perfect gas and oxygen mix, and your engine is running perfect. But down here, if you tax too much, now you're starving your tax base, and they literally can't pay for stuff. So your national sales tax doesn't matter anyways. So everyone is starving. So in other words, the math problem itself prevents you from being too greedy if you are a politician voting on what the percentage should be. So I would say, like, it would have to be, if anybody ever tried to change that percentage from the magic number, the same way that we do like now. We lower taxes and somehow we end up with more revenue because more people have more money to spend and the economy it flourishes. But if you're going to try to move that number from, that perfect mix to something else, it would have to be unanimous in the House and the Senate, or nothing happens at all. There is not going to be any 60. There's not going to be any rule changes. It would have to be part of the amendment, part of the law that says you are not allowed to change this number unless you're willing to commit political suicide. But I think that we would have a flourishing economy there, because one of the things about a national sales tax is because it's not taxing income, it's taxing what you buy. And so now you're making money off of even smugglers and drug dealers. They can make as much money as they want, cash, whatever. But they still have to eat. They still have to buy cars. They still have to buy gas. And because of that, now you are casting a wide net on every single income that you possibly can. The black and anyone dealing in a black market, anything could be smuggling cigarettes, for crying out loud. You still have to, you still have the same expenses everybody else does. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. But Brit humor can be very regional, then build in accents like mine and subtitles sometimes. Yeah. What is your accent, Cake? One of you, Susie's from Canada, eh? Which would make okay. This doesn't make any sense over here. I mean, I like that there's an underline because it looks like it needs one, but this junk over here is just that. It's junk, and it needs to go immediately. So yeah, I'm gonna try. In fact, I might try. I have a brother. If you guys would like to check out his channel, it's fun. If anybody's into other artsy and crafty stuff, he is a what we call a turbocharged. I wouldn't say turbocharged nerd, but in the best sense. Back in the day before computer graphics took over special effects, people actually had to build practical effects devices, blood packs, and things like that. And my brother and I used to, we would take Legos and just throw the directions right out and just make whatever we wanted. And it was always like, spaceship based on the last, coolest, even though most of them sucked at the time, last coolest movie you saw, or like Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars or whatever, and you'd like make your own spaceships and stuff. And he does that now, and I mean with like fiber optics that the windows light up, and he'll take old vacuum cleaner parts and Bic lighters, and then he'll also 3D print some things. But by the time he's done editing his videos, I mean, that I like watching him because I mean I know who he is, so I understand his sense of humor. But you can tell that he's taken some time to make something really entertaining, and it is interesting, I think. But it's called the Kit Bash Federation. Yeah, these are it's either the paper or the pencils, but this is a hell of a soft lead for B. I need to clean this eraser off or something. Hey. Whoa. I just saw something come up. There's a Red Voice Media on Rumble. It says that there's a woman that did a PowerPoint presentation on the 50 people that she slept with. Do you chicks do that? Man, chicks are doing some weird stuff these days. I mean, guys have always been weird. Let's face it. Yeah, I think this paper is rather unforgiving when it comes to pencils and erasing. It kind of gets torn up a lot. But I think I could. I'm looking at it straight. I think I could scan this in and maybe turn it into a vinyl decal or something like that and send it in. But this one, I'm going to do this. I don't use this a lot. This is new. I want to use this in my in my comic work. Maybe I can get another one in there. Everybody has a specific signature. Now, what I do for custom paint is I'll actually put a fingerprint on there and then write in their identity crisis design, because that's identity crisis, but because that's the business name. But for this stuff, I want to do this. It's kind of a Frazetta-esque. If anybody's ever seen Frazetta, he has a in fact, I've got a bunch of books up here. I can show you what his signature looks like. I installed this bookshelf that's right above the desk. It scares me a little bit. This is a great book. He's got to have a. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, nudity. Signature looks like that. And when he uses it when he does it with a paintbrush, it's really cool. But the camera, bump the camera again. So let's see if you guys. This is what I want mine to look like. There. Oh, here, I'll put a little 23. And then I can say, Max, this is for you. Thank you so much for the pencils. Check out that invite. Like and subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to do something else with Max. Like I said, I want to do a live stream and make a character on something like a comic book page. And it would be like, if Max was a superhero, it would look something like this, something like that. So if you guys think that's a good idea, let me know. I think it would be fun. No, I know PowerPoint is a thing, Cake. I know PowerPoint. What I'm saying is, geez, this is great. I ask one question and you guys just you go off. That's awesome. Okay, let me get into this real quick. Okay, no, they don't. Why do that? I don't know. I don't know. Although, don't you find that it's a little unsettling that in the aughts and in the 90s, body count meant something completely different than it means today. Today, and this is a thing. I'm not painting with a broad brush and blaming my friends or anything like that. But I keep hearing the term body count in terms of how many people someone has slept with. Specifically, how many people a woman has slept with. I don't hear guys using that terminology. If they do and I'm wrong, then I'm sorry, because I'm not trying to start a stereotype. I'm just paying attention to the way the lexicon is being used. That sounds a little, we'll call it, sounds a little loose to me, if you know what I'm saying. And anyways, that's paper burrs. Yeah, PowerPoint is a thing. You can, yes, but are you doing PowerPoints about the points that you've powered? Is my question. And of course you're not. My chat is very, very modest. And they're, I would like to think that even if they're young people, they are old souls and therefore old school, and that's the way to be. They're moral to the nth. That's what I think. That's my chat. The most moral chat. We'll go there. I've heard people say the sexiest chat. I can't use that one before because, who can say? But yeah, maybe have a yeah, yeah, locker room talk. Locker room talk wouldn't be locker room talk if it was just inside the locker room. That's the real. Although, now that you mention it, is ladies' locker room talk vastly different than guys' locker room talk? Now, that's a rhetorical question. I mean, I'm really literally just thinking of that just thinking it up right now. Like, I wonder what women's locker room talk is like, because nobody would know what guys' locker room talk is like if a guy could keep his mouth shut. You know what I mean? And not sound like that outside the locker room. Okay. Well, they give more details. That's good. So ladies give more details, but I can't believe we're on this subject. Ladies give more details, but they're not crude details. I mean, it's not like they're breaking out a slide ruler or something. Is that what you're saying? Is it like fish stories where, the lady is saying, like, I once caught a fish, euphemistically, this big? Am I getting into struck territory for whatever Susan thinks is all right? Ladies give more details. It had a bend in it. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. No, that's good. That's good to know because I. Yeah, PowerPoint, something classy. That's good. Oh my God, you guys. I hope you show up for the next. I hope you show up for the next stream because I actually, what is it? It's got to be like 4. That's 4:09. All right, I've got like 20 minutes. I got to get my lunch together and do stuff. Make sure the dog goes out and all that before I bail. But Susie, Debbie, definitely weird, but in a good way. Cake. Thank you, ladies, for showing up, and for the guys that were here for as long as they were here. I know I'm going to get lambasted for saying this, but they're either not here or this is just typical of women doing all the talking. But I do mean that in the best way possible because your vocabulary is wide and deep, and I think that that's a good quality to have. All right, I gotta go because the double entendres are going to come hard and fast before I'm aware of it, and I don't want to lose any pals. So thanks for showing up. I'm gonna run over here to the other computer here and end the broadcast. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next one.